Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Harris and I'm here to share my Save the Bees project-based learning lesson plan. This is for TEEL 350 Curriculum and Assessment, summer of 2016 at Fort Hays State University. The inspiration came from these globally complex questions. How have humans made an impact on the environment and what should we do about it? Why is it important to save the honeybees and how can we help? I'm pretty passionate about the environment, and so I would love the opportunity to teach our future generations about the importance of thinking about it. So some of the essential questions along the way would be, how do bees help our crops grow? Why is it important to have natural pollinators like bees? How do they impact our lives? How has our environment changed and how has it impacted the bees and humans, and why are large amounts of the bee population dying off? This would be for 4th grade. I think that it could work really well for 3rd grade as well. It would take 4 weeks, each session being 20 to 40 minutes long, depending on the content of the lesson and if there's other scheduling time constraints. There will be some independent work, journaling activities, and group work, 4 to 5 students per group. Content areas cover English, language arts, social studies, and science. The English language arts standards, the most important one is the speaking. They need to be able to report on their topic and be able to discuss with each other. Their writing is important because they are conducting a research project and recalling relevant information from their experiences that they will be having throughout this lesson, and then explaining and interpreting information that they take in. So, social studies, I felt that choices have consequences and relationships among people, places, and ideas and environments are dynamic, fit very well for this. And then science, constructing an argument that plants and animals have internal and external structures that function to support for survival, growth, behavior, and reproduction. This will be really important in the first week because they will be learning about the anatomy of the bee's life cycle and their pollination and home. So all of that will be important for accomplishing this standard. Objectives include learning about pollinators, anatomy, and life cycle of the bee, process of pollination, the importance of the bee in the food chain and how they impact agriculture, researching the impact of humans and the environment on bee populations, keeping a journal for research, creating diagrams, and writing reflective essays, put together group presentations for public awareness and service using 21st century skills, creating a persuasive essay. Researching will be achieved through discussions, guest speaker, educational videos, internet searches, and shared articles and stories. Some of the pre-teaching ideas include prior presentation experience and iPad practice so that they are already familiar with expectations of presentations and with the technology. Team building activities will be really important. We're learning a lot about this in our technology class. There are some great stories to read to the students out there. And then Saving Sam is an activity for them to practice teamwork. It involves using a gummy worm and a lifesaver, and it's either getting him free from the lifesaver or getting him into the lifesaver. I can't remember which. And then the pom-pom drop is another one that I'd like to have them do, which they use toilet paper rolls that have like a magnet, or maybe they're taped to the wall, and it's to get the pom-pom from the top to the bottom through the maze. And then just prior to the project, I will be distributing journals with expectations. They're for research and notes only, and they will be turned in weekly. They will be graded, and they will know what each thing is for. They need to write a reflection over this or notes over this, and so they will know ahead of time what's to be turned in. The first week is all about exploration of the bee itself. What is a producer, a KWL activity, and an introduction. Exploring bees, the anatomy and life cycle, then pollination, which the Cheeto pollination experiment will be a hands-on activity for them. And then their homes and hexagons, and so that incorporates a little bit of math. And then the construction play-based team building activity. So that's kind of another a chance for them to practice their team building skills before they get into this serious project. And so during this phase, they will be doing diagrams that are like a worksheet that they fill in along with a vocabulary list for them to keep in their journals. They're going to be keeping this information all along to reference. Week 2, continued exploration and intro to global impact. The first day, I really want them to just kind of really see the products that bees make. We all know what honey looks and tastes like, but what about a honeycomb or wax or the royal jelly or anything like that? So when we're able to show a video and show where it came from, and then here's what it looks like, here's what it feels like, what it tastes like. So it's just kind of a exploration for them. And then on day 2, it's the wrap up, and this is going to be a video for them, and then the chance to take more notes and write a reflection. Design a guide. I want them to start taking everything that they've learned and create a guide that has that someone else would want to read and for them to use possibly in their presentation. Because the presentation is a little more open, they're going to be free to use whatever materials they have available to them. And the guide might be a very handy tool to have. So then we start going into global impact, and this is going to be another KWL activity. Now that you've learned all of this about the bees, what more do you want to know? And they will be aware of the beekeeper interview. What would you like to ask this beekeeper? And then day 5 is the interview, and they will have questions ready, and they will be taking notes and writing a reflection. So day 1 will be the opportunity to continue working on their reflection and their guides. It's just kind of a day for them to work. And we're going to go into the global impact. And so they will have learned from the beekeeper what's going on in the environment. And we will be watching videos and discussing threats to bees, agriculture, business, and the environment. Why are bees important? One last story to read to them, and discussion and reflection. And then day 5, what can I do? So you can see that through weeks 1 through 3 that they're some of these activities can be 20 minutes long. Some of them can be much longer, especially if it's a hands-on experiment. I really just want the kids kind of thinking and exploring and learning from different sources, videos, stories, articles, and a beekeeper or gardener themselves. And then on week 4, they will be working on their project development and their presentations. And so their presentations are going to be on the iPads. I would imagine them to be using iMovie to accomplish it. They can make posters, they can bring props, whatever they need to do. But they've got 3 days, and I will give them 45 minutes each of those 3 days to work. And then their presentations, of course. So assessments include, but are not limited to, teacher observation of group work and discussions, journals that include notes and reflections, KWL, diagrams, interview questions and reflections, and their guides, which are like they're not in the journal, they'll be separate. And then their presentations is the summative assessment. So by the summative assessment, they should have all the information they need to make a public service awareness announcement to teach the public about bees, about the bees themselves, why they're important, what's happening, and what they can do to help. And this is really to not just encourage them to care about bees, but to care about the environment in general. That's the main goal of this PBL. So here's a great teamwork rubric that would be used for group work all along. I imagine with some of the discussions, I would like for them to get together with their group to have discussions. So I would use this several times. This is a great resource I found online that has really good, more scientific diagrams. They're not cute, they're pretty accurate looking to me. And this is a very long resource. It's very thorough. I really liked it. I wish I had the time to look through all of it. But I could definitely pull some things to use from it. I wouldn't want them doing all worksheets, obviously, but I think that there are 4 main diagrams, at least to the anatomy and the life cycle, that are important for them to know about the bee, and then there's also vocabulary. There is a rubric for assessing their journal entries and the oral presentation rubric. My resources include this story, What If There Were No Bees, and this link has several other bee books that I could choose from. I found some good videos. The first one, How Do Bees Make Honey, is a very short one, so it's good to share for them, share with them. And then sections from this video called All About Honeybee Documentary. It's very long, it's like 50 minutes long, so I could pull the important parts that we're learning about to share with them. And then this one's called Death of Bees. There is the honey files, which was the worksheet diagrams I showed you. And the Cheeto experiment I found on Pinterest, which was actually aimed for younger children, but I don't know that every child has experienced it, so it's still something to get them excited, kind of a thinking activity. And then this Teacher Pay Teacher had a PBL available as a lesson, and she had a list of the different topics or the different lessons within the bigger lesson that she has, and I definitely did pull a few of those, which some of them were already in my head, and I was just looking through the list and I was like, yes, that's one I want to do, that's one I want to do. So she kind of helped inspire me. And then obviously our beekeeper would be a resource. So that's it for my PBL that I have to share with you. I don't know if I have anything to reflect over at the moment. I think that there's still a little bit of my own synthesizing to do about it. I don't necessarily know if this is on level with 4th grade. Again, I'm also not necessarily doing these for huge chunks of the school day, but the goal of it is to get them to present, to learn to reflect, to think about the environment, and to consider what they can do to help. And so the goal is to inspire other environmental passions about the environment. So I hope that's where it goes towards, rather than just being a giant mess of learning all these random things about bees. That I think that I structured it with learning about the bees themselves and blending into global environmental issues and then into awareness and action. So thank you for letting me share with you, and I'm really loving watching everyone else's. Thank you all so much.